Hi, everyone, and welcome to another social science coffee break. I'm Stacey Allen. I work for Learn, and part of my dossier includes being a RICI provincial consultant for the Anglophone community. And I'm joined today by my colleague Paul, and we're very excited to show you two resources, one for the elementary level and one for secondary level, to promote digital competency in your classrooms as well as your program competencies. So today I'm going to show you a board game that I created using a mix of Gemini, which is an AI large language model, and Canva Bulk Create, which is a tool that is available for free with your Canva for Education license. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen because I just realized I forgot to share it. Perfect. There we go. So let's make that a bit bigger so you can see it better. Okay. Um, okay, let's move it over. Wonderful. So the board game that I created this week was called The Great Comparison, because I wanted to make a board game where students could really work on their competency three, so comparing two societies as they existed in the same time period. So this board game was created to compare New France and the 13 colonies around 1745. The basics of the board game, the students had to start at the start and they choose different cards every time. Each card has a trait. So, for example, the land was divided into long, narrow strips, and it was called the Sangaree. And then the students would have to decide, is that trait describing New France or the 13 colonies or both around that time period? And I love board games because they're such an engaging way for students to practice their competencies, engage in those kind of comparison skills related to their social science content, but in a way that it doesn't even feel like you're learning because you're playing a game with your friends. And there's so much to gameplay. In addition to the competencies in the game, the students are working on that social emotional regulation about how it feels to win and lose and how to be a good partner. They're communicating with each other. So there's a lot included in those board games. And this board game is, of course, for Cycle 2 Elementary. So I'm going to show you where it lives on societies and territories. Okay, so here you'll see the image of the board game itself. The board game is linked as a Canva template. So you can either print the board game probably on 8.5 by 14 paper, or there's actually a version, I have it here in another tab, that you could display this on an interactive whiteboard, and then students could move their little bonhommes that were created by Recetus along the game board. So if you wanted to play as a class, you totally could. Um, Now, exactly, you see the game board, and every turn, the students would pick a card, either a trait card or a challenge card, which is a bit harder, and they'd have to pick what society the card is describing. Okay. So the cards, I'll open them up for you so you can see the cards. Here's a little teacher's guide on how to play. And this is a bit about what the cards look like. You'll see it's a template so that you can create it in your own Canva account and change it as needed. So you will see there are 50 cards in just the trait deck. So there's quite a few. Now, at one point, these cards would have taken me a long time to do because I would have had to duplicate a card, copy and paste the text in, make sure all my formatting is correct. But Canva actually has a new AI tool called Bulk Create that you can use to quickly create cards. So you could create a game similar to this for your own classroom, or have your students create this kind of game to play amongst themselves or with other groups. So to create these cards, rather than create them all individually, what I did is I asked Gemini, my dear friend in AI, what are some examples of challenges based on the POL content in Quebec, as well as I uploaded some copy-free documents for them to pull from to find different traits. So for example, these are my challenge cards here. So you'll notice that there's a card number and then they have a question and then there's an answer. Okay, so this is just a CSV or an Excel file that I uploaded to Canva. Now, from there, once you have your questions, in order to bulk create, what you can do is select all of your content that you want to create. You can go up to actions and select bulk create. Again, it is a pro feature, but it is free if you have a Canva for Education account. And as an educator, regardless of where you are in North America, you should be able to apply with your school board email to have a Canva education account. So from there, I'm going to press bulk create. Um, okay, I select my data, I click correct, and then you'll see that uh, I can select a template in which I want to put my data. Okay, so here I have the trait card template. I'm just going to walk through the process. I'll create another set of cards and you'll see now I need to connect the data. So um, for the challenge, that's going to be the front of my card. That's my question. Okay, so I'm connecting that. And then on the back, that's going to be my answer. Okay, I don't actually have an aspect because I guess I picked the challenge cards, not the trait cards. Okay. And then when I'm done connecting my data, I'm going to move this out of my way, go to advanced options, because you see right now it's creating 20 designs. So it's creating a new file in my Canva drive for each single card. That's a lot of files. That's a lot of hassle to go and open all 20 files to print. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go into advanced options and select one design with multiple pages. So now it's going to create one file with about 20 cards in it for me. So I'll select create design and you'll notice that it will automatically generate those cards. Okay. It'll take a bit of a minute. You'll see them linked here. However, they are all in one file. Um, Okay, so you'll see here, I might have to go and resize some just because of my template. Some of the questions are longer than others, so I might have to adjust the text. But in a matter of, what was that, about a minute, I've created about 20 cards very quickly. Okay. So Bulk Create is a wonderful tool for creating any kind of game cards with your students. Again, you can use an Excel sheet. So maybe you could have the individual students or groups of students come up with different traits of a society or different questions. And then you as a teacher could just bulk create them and have them all fit into a template so that every card is identical in a matter of seconds. So that is my great comparison board game. I'm going to hand it off to Paul to talk a bit about board games at the secondary level.
Hello, I'm going to start my share for this week's coffee break on Canva and using the bulk create function. So I'm going to just share my little slide here. We can see that. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I learned a lot as well. Basically, what I did was I used the bulk feature in Canva to create a board game to review facts and concepts. And I chose the post-war period and for secondary cycle 2, secondary 4 in Quebec. So this is why do this kind of thing. This is a very fun activity students can characterize post-war society with. Um, and they're also going to be able to practice their digital competency by researching, gathering digital source material, and collaboratively organizing it. Because my idea is that this game could be done by students. Students could build this game together, and this is a sample game that can also be used to mobilize digital technology for learning. So I haven't published this as an activity yet on the Learn site, but I'm going to go through the actual game rules and show you the cards I created in Canva and also the board design, which I like. You can see here that was done in Notebook LM. So basically, my game, the idea is there's a board and you have to basically move a piece forward in a board. So it's a points game. You get a certain number of points, a certain number of movements for doing certain things. And I wanted to create a series of cards using Canva Bulk Create. And you might notice that these cards are similarly formatted to concept cards that I had created in the past to be used with the discussion game by the Récit Univers Social. So you have a playing piece. So I thought maybe a car because it's about the suburbs and things like that in the post-World War. And you're traveling from downtown to the suburbs. So using this little car as a piece. And so basically, you deal out these cards, and the goal is to match concepts on the cards. I know I've done this several times, but it works well with this type of game. You show the photo side of the card, and and your team members get a chance to guess which concept it matches to. And if they guess it, you move three ahead. But if they don't guess it, you get to give them a textual hint, which is the text on the back. And if they get it, they move one space. If they still don't get it right, then the other team can steal that point, that move, by guessing the concept. So that's the game structure. So I'll show you what the cards look like. These cards were produced in Canva Bulk Create, which I'll show in a second. And but basically, what I have here is different titles from documents that are from the collections on Learn. I use the document collection for this period on the secondary site, which is where this will be posted as well. So in the secondary for a post-war section, and you can see that on the bottom here, kind of small, but there's a concept that's upside down here. So this is natural growth. You probably can't read that. So sometimes these cards apply to several concepts. So this one here is natural growth, but it's also related to residential schools because it's talking about the indigenous population. And there are about 7 or 8 concepts covered in the game so far. I may expand it to include the whole time period, but I think it works well with a particular um, you know section of the particular topic. So I'll see if I can find. Oh, maybe I can just do it through this slide. Canva design. Let's jump right to it. Yeah. So there's the Canva design. So Bulk Create requires you to create a design first of all. So this is my design with title, text area, concepts upside down here. I have a spot for the source and the actual source text, meaning the credits. And then you have to design your information using a spreadsheet, and you connect them together as Stacy will show you, or has shown you, sorry, in her presentation. I just wanted to say before I end here that this is the type of thing that students could build together. Basically what they're doing is they're finding a topic or a text. They're writing the text. They're associating with a concept, and they're titling it. They're finding documents, and they're sourcing their work. So you could imagine a situation where each student was responsible for a certain concept and then finding documents related to that concept. They submit them to the teacher, and the teacher loads them up in the bulk crate and creates the cards like that. So I thought that was a great way to use a Canva Bulk Create to create a game, and it's definitely something that students could use to build collaboratively in your class. So thank you very much. Have a great day.